And I just keep it because it's so,
He's going to stay.
okay. My dog is going to stay, so at some point I may have to let him out, just so you know he doesn't want to leave. Goshy boy.
That's no problem at all. So
Okay,
how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I actually had to cancel the whole week of all my Zoom calls because I was ill. And yesterday I started eating cereals and apple, banana. So I'm so happy. I was like, oh my God, please let me be well for this one.
Oh my goodness. Well, so glad to hear you're feeling better and taking a little bit of time out of your Sunday. I know this, away from your family and stuff, so we appreciate it. Like
Thank you.
Leave.
Okay. Let my dog out.
No problem.
Okay, now you're ready, sweetie pie? Bye. All right. Good. Otherwise, he would have definitely decided to leave in the middle of a speech.
That's just fine. So we're a team of, well, a lot of Canadians, but definitely.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So myself, I'm from Saskatchewan, Canada. So a little prairie province right in the center. So we definitely have a lot of Canadian coaches, but some from the US as well. So, let's just dive in if that's okay with you.
Are people here? Because I don't see.
Yes, you bet. I'm recording and we've got tons of faces on here if you can't see them on your end. So you bet.
I can't see you guys, but hello, hello, hello. Thank you for being here today.
They're all staring back at you and I've got you recording here too.
What else are they going to do? Right? I'm the only one here.
Right.
The flowers.
I know. I was just going to say you have a nice little backdrop too for your Zoom videos.
That's this is where I do my BB, and in the other room is where I do my healing work and my one-on-one work, and so it's my little back house of fun stuff.
Oh, peaceful too, I imagine.
Yes.
Beautiful. So I guess I kind of just get curious, how did this all start for you? We see what Shakeology is now, but maybe take us back. Like, how did you even start to come up with this idea?
Okay, so just so I know, did you ever heard the story? Did you ever hear the story of how it began?
I briefly heard it for the very first time on the last Success Club trip.
Oh, that was where?
Oh my gosh, now you're going to test me.
Don't worry, I failed that all the time.
The one you and Carl were on stage this last year, was it in Punta Cana?
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was one of the first time that Carl actually asked me to do that. So yeah, that was very new, and I've been doing it here and there with Zoom calls. People asking me, "Do you think?" I just want to know if I should go through it quickly, or do you think most people here haven't heard the beginning of it?
Most people here probably have not heard it. We're a fairly new-ish team, so a lot of people probably weren't on that trip. And I think for us, a lot of the reason behind it is the most important. So,
of course, and for me too. For me too, because everything that's behind it is what made it be here now. So. So in my very, very early 20s, I slowly started to get very, very sick, and gradually over the course of 1 to 2 years, sort of unable to do anything. So I had to let go of clients. I couldn't go to school. I couldn't really walk much or do much. I'd be exhausted all the time. And I didn't have any answer from anyone. I went from doctor to doctor, ended up being very broke and very ill at the time, and very scared because I couldn't get any information. So as I shared in Punta Cana, I ended up being told that it was probably all in my head and giving me antidepressant, which I tried, I think, once or twice, and it got me so freaked out. Now, I'm not saying that someone that doesn't really need that cannot benefit from something like that, but I don't think it was what I needed. And so, and I had never had anything like that in my life. I've never even dabbled in recreational anything. I'm pretty clean that way, not out of like goody-goody, but It was just never my thing. So so it freaked me out how out of sort and not myself I was, and enough that I decided to look outside conventional medicine. And I started looking for alternative doctors, which, almost 30 years ago, no, 30 something years ago, um, was not very well um, known, at least not in my environment here in where I was. And I had never heard of it. So it was very, very new. I knew about eating well. I was never one to really eat fast food, none of that stuff really. I mean, I wasn't raised in organic and any of that. The people that raised me did not have any conscious knowing of all that stuff. So they did the best they could, but we only do what we can do as we know it. But never nothing terrible that I could explain. And so I started looking into alternative doctors. That means since I was so broke, I couldn't even go to a health food store and buy anything. I just went to Koreatown and Chinatown and started meeting people, reading books, and met, again, wonderful soul, very giving soul, charging me very little, considering what they could charge me, but also taking the time to explain things to me. And actually, as I'm speaking now, I'm realizing that the traveling there and the speaking to these wonderful souls was partly the healing aspect of it all as well. So I was supported, I was heard, and I wasn't told that it was a crazy thing. They understood part of it, and it had to do with the central nervous system. It had to do with the immunity of the body. It had to do with a harmony. So all these people were dealing with the harmony and the coherence in your organs, communication, and the way they work together, the different systems. And so I started buying bark, roots, botanicals, cooking stuff in my little, I had two little, what's it called? I didn't even have an oven. It was like those two little round thing that you plug in, electrical. And so it took forever to cook all that stuff because I had only two. And, but that basically spent all my days just cooking, reading, and learning. And this is where I got in touch with the body and the emotion, and all that worked. And it was very new, and I was very excited, and quite rapidly, within the first 3 months, I think, I started sensing a difference, and just hope, and just being heard, and understanding that this was not crazy, I was not nuts, that I made sense to them, was so helpful. And so I started really diving deep into all this as I got better and better and better. And also got into a lot of MDs that did alternative medicine as well. And that was wonderful too. They had a different way of explaining things. And so there my new career began. So I was mostly a track and field coach, sports psychology, very physical my whole life. I was always very physical. And so not being physical for 2 years and being very ill was a big wake-up call in terms of compassion and understanding of all my clientele and people at large. Understanding the whole thing, meaning understanding out of nowhere suddenly being broke and all sorts of events happening where you found yourself in situations you can't believe you're in. And so I get it on all those levels. And it was exciting to have a whole world open up like that, where I was empowered and able to do something about my health and the understanding of who I was. And so I started studying and diving deep into that. And I started making serum and potion and then shake. Because nobody wanted to drink the serum and shake unless they were very ill, where you're like, whatever, man, I'm going to eat anything or drink anything to get well. But when you're just uncomfortable or chronic pain that you handle, but it's not fun, you don't want to have anything that's yucky. So I learned to put them into shake. And it literally became a must for all my clientele. And I would always discuss that as well as their nutrition and the exercise program and the emotional aspect of their lives in my protocol. And I did that for decades. And I started training groups. I worked a lot in the film industry and the athletic industries. So I would do shakes and set up protocols for big groups, never as group as the Beachbody platform, as big as the Beachbody platform, but big groups, sometimes 300 people. And so it really became what I did. And so once again, my experiences became my work, which is what you guys do. Your experiences of the products becomes your work out of living it, seeing how you feel now, the experience of where you were to where you are now, being excited about it, wanting to share it. And then by making it your work, it becomes another place where you can bring abundance. Mm-hmm. It starts with the abundance of physical, emotional well-being, and it goes into everything else. So that was my journey as well. This is why, for me, the Beachbody platform makes a lot of sense. And then when I met Carl, for a while, I did it at home for our family, our help, our friends, the people that work at the little school that I created for my son, and with about 8 to 10 kids. And there we go. That's the story behind it. Lots of pain and lots of fear and lots of openings and understanding and new world, and also a lot of compassion and gratitude. Yeah. And this is why, like I said, I'm in love with what you guys do, because the support of these benevolent souls that took the time to explain and talk to me, even though I was in a fear-based place and sometimes negating it because I didn't know anything about it. So it was kind of weird and scary sometimes. So they were patient and they understood that. And this is what the platform is as well. A bunch of people that have been there understand the experience of fear and illness and not being well. And therefore the patience, the gratitude, the kindness that can be part of what you do every day, which is so crucial to healing and being well just as much as the products themselves. So to me, the Beachbody platform embodies everything that I've been through, and hopefully making it happen before people hit rock bottoms. But I do not regret rock bottom because it taught me so much. And so Carl asked me to please do a shake for the company, and it was quite scary. Most coaches want me to add that, so I'm gonna add it here. It was very scary because by then I had done also formulas for companies, and very often eventually the formula would be compromised for whatever reason, and the thing that I loved that I had created was not quite what I had created eventually, and I couldn't stand by it. So I would walk away. I would walk away from my bonuses, from my credits, my credentials, but I did it several times. And so I said to Carl, listen, this is very scary. You're the CEO of this company. You're my husband. I can't quit. It would break my heart. I can't walk out. So you must promise me not to compromise this formula. It's too important to me. And it will be very hard to stay on board and promote it if I didn't believe in everything I say. And he made that deal with me, and bless his heart, he kept his word like nobody I know. And I'm so proud of him as well, because it is not easy at all. We can dive into that later through your other questions. And so there you go. And then I was a young mother, and birth itself created more challenges physically for me. I'm just starting to do a little bit of what I call workouts, really early at the beginning, but I'm very, very excited. So it's been a 9-year journey from being very physical, where exercise is part of my life, and to nothing at all for almost 9 years. And rehab and no answers and all that stuff. And so I love that as well, because I understand where you come from. I completely understand the weakness because I was so strong in my head. I'm still so strong, and my body has been so weak, lost all its muscle mass, but the memory never goes away. But I'm undertaking all that now, And I have so much gratitude for it as well, because when someone talks to me about being sick or being weak or never have been exercises or being 200 pounds, I have not been overweight that way, but I know what it's like to be ill, sick, and now I know what it's like to not have exercised and for such a long period of time. So I come from another place again of having been there. And that also is a blessing, because I get it. I really get it. And I'm not afraid of the aches and pains that they're describing, because I get it. I know what that is. And I think it's a blessing for our platform once again, because it doesn't mean you have to be a fitness expert. You don't have to be in tip-top shape. It's not about that. It's about you've been there, you've done it, therefore you get it, therefore you can share it and talk about it. And I love that as well, that we're not asking you to be a size 2 and lift 100 pounds squatting. It's not about that. It's about, are you in it? Mm-hmm. Have you already felt the difference? Are you excited about it? And are you moving through the challenges with them? And that's what I'm doing with you as we speak. So that's exciting to me, because I feel like it's a platform that honors humanity, imperfection, fear, insecurities, low self-worth, these very deep emotional challenges, human feelings, and embracing them and taking it all in, and yet moving through it. Mm-hmm. And so that to me is the blessing of the platform. So when people say, oh, you're just making money out of it. Yes. And why should I be ashamed of that? We are making money out of this. And as an individual, I made money out of getting well and healthy and vital and able to play with my kids and all that. And so I'm creating emotional abundance, psychological abundance, physical abundance, and why the heck not financial abundance? Because we don't exchange things nowadays. We pay for things. So we all need it. So why be ashamed of it if you're creating wealth by enhancing others in every way you can, even in the way you speak to people on the phone? That is amazing. And you're teaching them that that's possible for them as well. So to me, my whole journey translates into this platform.
Yeah. I loved how you mentioned, I was going to ask you how long the journey was from when this started to when you started creating the actual name Shakeology. And you had mentioned that 9-year mark. And I thought, just that patience, I think really even humbles us, because we see so many challengers, we see so many coaches in this world. I mean, as you know, we want to get success fast, whether that be in our fitness and health goals, whether that be in our business goals. But to hear you say, after 9 years, I'm starting to put fitness back into my life. It's like,
yes.
Oh,
it's an incredible thing. Yes. And I see that it's most people's journey. So we see the success, we see the perfection, we see all that, the glamorous aspect of it, but I think most of us go through hell and always encounter tons of challenges all the time. And I love the fact that I know what it's like to be broke and in fear and alone and clueless, ignorant, not understanding what's up and needing to reach out and reach in, really, I should say, deep within myself and not give up on myself and keep looking for solutions. So I feel that my goal with Darren and the Beachbody community and our amazing R&D, research and development team at Beachbody, which we are blessed to have, because I needed Darren to help me create the shake. And so I feel that we're allowing people to not hit rock bottom, that they don't have to get there, that all that experience is in the platform, really. And so if you can get to people before they hit rock bottom, how beautiful is that? And therefore, I feel that it would be so great for people to understand. They look at me, and that's an image, a perception that people have of me, right? It's just a perception. I'm a human being. And as you hear my story, you see that even now I'm not galloping in the prairie doing my hike and my sprints. And, I'm challenged every day with the body and all that. But I think the biggest teaching in that is look at that body. It's never too late, because I'm so thrilled now. I'm so excited. I just started doing little things and I laugh and I'm like, oh my God, I used to sprint and I used to do Olympic lifts. But I am so much more happy about it now than I was back then. I took it for granted, just the way it was. Right. And so I have a rediscover an awe feeling toward everything about my body and my health and my well-being. And also, as Carl reminded me yesterday, I was able to pay it forward. And there's nothing better than that. You can make money creating dis-ease in the world, and you can be thrilled that you make $1 million, but I really sincerely, personally don't believe that you'll be happy doing that. I really don't. It doesn't have to be the Beachbody platform. I always say I pray that we're not the only one in the world, because we need many of us to create a change here. But we definitely are one of them. And I think it helps everyone to see that I'm not, shiny skin, and I'm you. Yeah. I'm you, and I'm going through the same thing as you. So when I speak in Zoom calls, I'm you. I never feel like an expert, really. I never feel like I've got it down. I never feel like I know all the answer. I feel like I'm learning, growing, evolving with you, through my life, and we are helping each other. And often, what a better way to have a life, to honor each other's pain with gratitude, so that we can have enough love for oneself to allow ourselves to get well. Because if you beat yourself up and you don't love yourself, and you're not in awe of your ability to heal and get very, very well, and thrive, you have to care. You have to understand the beauty of this machine and the miracles that this body can do for you. And I think when we get ill or broke and desperate, we forget all these abilities and these possibilities out there. And I think the Beachbody platform, once again, is that. And I know I'm that, because this is not my first time from the rock bottom up. I'm a stubborn person. And in my life, I look back, I'm like, wow, I have fallen flat on my face so many times and come back up and boom, and come back up. And every time I was too young to look back and think, I'm not going to get so desperate right now, because I've been there. I know what that is. And I came back. So I'm just going to do it again. And only now am I aware of that. So I actually can enhance my journey. So I must say that one thing that I'm realizing is, through the 9 years that I've been through that since the birth of my son, I wasn't depressed, and I was in fear, I was in pain, in and out, but my progression is also very spiritual, because I saw that, and I saw the deep humanity and the deep evolution of my soul in it, and how that could benefit even my friends and family, because I was changing as a human being as well. So I think you guys are all that as well. So when you get on the phone, you don't have to be perfect. You can be 50 pounds overweight. You can be challenged with cravings. All that is welcome on the platform. And it's rare that those things are welcome in the platform. So I want to share that, even though our trainers and a lot of people are healthy and strong, and they're teaching you all that, that's not what the platform is about. The platform is about human beings enhancing their well-being and abundance on all levels through the learning of being a human being. I hope it makes you comfortable, because, let's say you are whatever, 50, 70, 20, whatever, overweight or dealing with chronic illness, and you feel you can't become a coach. It's quite the opposite. You can share your journey with people, and that's so helpful.
And I think we're all in a position kind of like you were, I guess, when you were starting to develop these serums and it's starting to help you feel better. You know, a lot of us are feeling the same way about the actual Shakeology product. We understand what it's doing for us. But how back then did you, you know, whatever word you want to use, inspire or motivate people to see the value in it as well? I mean,
Oh,
you saw it yourself, we see it ourselves, but then the struggle is you want to help people, but
yeah.
how do you get them to understand sometimes?
Well, I am not in your position, so I will speak as
Mm,
and how I did it and how I do it when I talk in Zoom calls. So I go back to when Carl asked me to make a shake. I said to him, I said, listen, I am not interested in doing a protein shake. I'm not interested in just delivering macro ingredients, protein and carbs. Um, I'm interested in the missing links, in the elements that are hardest to get for our well-being, but the ones that all human beings do need to be healthy and vital. The common denominators for vibrant health. Um, I'm not saying they're the only one. I'm not saying it's the only mix. I'm just saying this is what I created with my partners. Um, and so I said to Carl, I want to create the missing links. So I want to deliver to the best of my abilities with help that which healed me, because I'm not worried that people don't know where to get carbs or protein. But I am worried about digestive enzyme, prebiotic, probiotic, fiber. Those are the elements that are enhancing your digestion, so allowing yourself to uh, make what you ingest, allow your body to dive into the food and extract what it needs from it and let go of what it doesn't through fiber. So the prebiotic, probiotic, digestive enzyme, these elements are crucial to your ability to digest food. So that was one group I wanted. I also wanted phytonutrients and antioxidants. Phytonutrients means super greens, vegetables that are high in phytonutrients, and fruits that are high in antioxidants, together enhancing your body's ability to deal with stress, immunity. So I had these two groups that were important, and I added exotic foods that also do enhance the body's ability to be strong and deal with the stresses of living. But maybe are not quite as well known. And adaptogen are amazing because they go inside your body and they make sure that all your organs, all your systems, central nervous system, cardiovascular system, respiratory system, you also have, your adrenals, your kidney, your liver, your spleen, your gallbladder, your stomach, your colon, your heart, all these systems work in perfect unison when we're healthy. It's the perfect team. They all have to be well and work well with each other. Adaptogen can go in there without disturbing anything that's doing well and just enhance the part that's not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an incredible intelligence to know and to go in there, not disturb anything, but just go in and enhance this little part of you that's not quite on track. So they are well known in Asia, in many aspects of the alternative medicine in the world, but not quite as well known in the United States. So I wanted that as well. So did Darren. He's also very much in love with all these elements, all these ingredients. This is why I was the perfect partner. So I have my phytonutrients, antioxidants, greens, fruits. I have all the digestive elements for health, and I have my adaptogens, and then of course we do have exotic protein and good carbs, some healthy fats, and all of that together allows the body to get the missing link. So all these elements are the very elements that are lacking in our food the most, because of the state of the air and the soil, the pesticide, the herbicides, all that. So it's challenging to get fruit, vegetable, grains, protein, seeds, nuts that are not that are vital, healthy, and bioavailable. And so all these elements together like that, to me, what was what I wanted to deliver the most to another human beings. And they're crucial to being well. So when people say what's the difference between the shake and protein shake, it's just not a protein shake. Yes, it has a good amount of good protein, and it has a lovely amount of carbs, and everything is well balanced, but the main goal was the missing links, what I've just explained to you. Yeah. So I don't know if that helps you understand, but that's the difference. And also the other aspect of it, which may answer most people's questions about the money, is that it's not easy to get clean suppliers, vendors, farms. So the sourcing is very challenging. We go all around the world. So it's not Darren and I going all around the world hunting. Actually, I should say Darren. We have dozens and dozens of experts. That's their trade. They have PhDs in that and experiences, and they travel all around the world to try to find the cleanest, pure source for us. And most of them don't cut it. We have a high level of a standard of quality, and most of them don't work. And also, we have a large volume. So finding enough of each ingredient all around the world, Peru, Asia, it's a heck of a job. So finding clean sourcing through our expert teams and processing everything with high, quality, kind, gentle filtering system, I'm trying to find, because every different ingredients need different ways of being extracted or processed or dried, but we try to find the most gentle, state-of-the-art way, whether it's called filtration, to extract, to take what is bioavailable and alive, right, in each ingredient, and keep it that way until the time it gets to you. Mm-hmm. And that also costs a lot of money. That's a very challenging thing to do. We try to get organic whenever we can. That's also very challenging when you're in Peru, where they don't even know that word, and they've been doing things for thousands of years a certain way, and they don't speak English. So it's like, but what we do is we also have our own team that tests every batch. So even if it was organic, we try to get organic whenever we can. Mm-hmm. But even if it was organic, it doesn't guarantee all of that. So we know that by testing everything on the farm before it gets shipped, once it's shipped, and before it gets in your bag, we know the quality that we have and what we don't want in it and what we do want in it. That's also another aspect of the money. That costs money, but that's the only way nowadays that we can be assured of what's up in our shake. Mm-hmm. It makes us feel very safe. So that's what's special about the company as well. Not everybody can afford to have such teams on board, and we're blessed that we can. And not everybody has the intent to keep it that way.
Right. I think that even makes, we open up our bag every day and make the shake. And sometimes, even like you said, working out we take for granted. I mean, I'm the first to admit, sometimes I take Shakeology for granted, right? It becomes part of your daily routine. Yeah. Your bag, you have it, it's good for you. But then when you take a moment and hear how it was created, where it's coming from, how strategically it's made, it just makes you appreciate that daily routine that much more. When you open up that bag, like, I'm going to make mine after this. And it just means, I think, a lot more than going to Walmart or wherever it may be, picking something up off the shelf and putting it in your body just for protein. Like, this is so much more. So I guess it's just learning how to express that, to other people that are looking for help.
Did it help what I just said? Can you see heads and see if it was helpful or not?
Everybody up. Yes, they're all like, yes.
And I'm just reminded, and also, even if you didn't know anything, if you've been taking the shake on a regular basis, don't do it for a week. Tell me how you feel. the worst feeling in the world. It's exaggerating, but oh my God, do I feel it when I don't take it. But I was just reminded of something that we had a conversation, Carl and I, and you know how Carl is very succinct. And we came up, and he was so good at it. And I think if I can find it, I would love to read you guys. Please, Isabel, find it. Yay! I would love to read you what he came up with to help you describe the shake.
Yeah.
Very short. People look at nutrition as fuel and think that means it's just as simple as putting gasoline into your car. But that's not what it is at all. Your car doesn't run just on gasoline, just like your body doesn't just run on carbs or protein. Sure, the gasoline is what makes the engine ignites to make it move, but you also need oil to keep the whole machine lubricated and functioning. You need brake fluid to help the car stop, hydraulic fluid so that I can steer. The point is, even a car needs all sorts of different nutrition in order to function. So now let's look at the complex systems of the body. You're not just consuming fuel for energy. At least one time a day, you are consuming the dense nutrition required to make your brain, heart, internal organs, digestion, metabolisms, bones, joints, everything function as best as it can. If you think that can be achieved from a slice of pizza or a multivitamin, good luck. We are part of nature, and our entire biology relies on healthy fats, protein, fiber, phytonutrients, antioxidants, and yes, even superfoods in order to function at its best. Now, when you look at that little scoop of powder, you should think, wow, I can't believe it only costs that much in order to feed my body what it needs so easily. So you can see how it condensed everything I just discussed with you in Causeway. It's really showing you, because it's hard to conceive of this little scoop of powder. You know, it almost looks like a regular chocolate scoop of powder. But when you think of all that's in it and how it makes you feel, I think it's another way to describe the shake. Was that helpful?
Yes, a lot of shaking again. That was
Man might like that one.
I think that breaks it down for a lot of people that maybe aren't quite in the nutrition space yet, right? Like I feel like our minds function a little bit differently sometimes once we're in the nutrition space and understand what it does for our bodies. But for people just getting in there, they need it broken down a little bit more. So that really, really helps.
So if the car works for you, use the car. But if you can think of anything else that you're more acquainted with, that requires many aspects in order to function well, you can use that as well. To start describing to people that there's a lot more to your body's functioning well. And you know, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, food was more plentiful and plentiful in nutrients and cleaner. And we all know what happened through the decades and hundreds of years that have passed. So it's not quite the same as it used to be at all. And that's just a fact. So you would have to have like this perfect meal, this perfect thing on your plate a lot in order to try to gather all the nutrients that your body needs. And, you know, I'm just starting to look at YouTubes, and I see people criticism on the shake. It's beautiful. I love it because I always look for nuggets. Is there something that I'm hearing that I can enhance the shake with? So it's not like, for me, it's a constant evolution. The better technology, the better understanding, perhaps more growth. So we have more means to do things, or elements that we couldn't incorporate that now we can. I want an evolution with the shake, and I want to get better and better and better. The shake changes and gets better and better and better. So when I hear criticism, one thing that's wonderful is that since I am part of the process, I am a co-creator, and I know our integrity. You can't sway me. You can't convince me that my shake is not worth much. Like, you can't convince me of that, right? And I know it may sound like I'm trying to sell, but that's also irrelevant to me, because I know that I'm here telling my truth, and that's all that matters, really. So I know that. So I can actually listen to all these criticism and say, oh yeah, this person is not aware of that, not aware of that, not aware of that. They haven't done their research. They're not part of they don't know what formulating is. A lot of criticism come from the outsiders, people that ingest powders that are not part of the process of it. So you read and stuff, but you can only know what you know when you're not part of the process. So it's fantastic for me. I love it. So I've started doing that once in a while, and I can see, no, we're on top of that. No, we're doing this. No, that's exactly why it costs more than $30, because we don't do that. Mm-hmm. And so, like they were saying, our whey-based protein, our demanure, no, it's not. It's completely bioavailable. That's the beauty of it. It's not ion exchange. It's processed in a cold filtration way so that it is bioavailable, and that with nothing, it's alive. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, wow, they don't even read our FAQ. They don't. So it's like, but anybody who doesn't take the time to really study and know about Shakeology will listen to that and go with it, because they use these big words and they sound educated. Yeah. And then sometimes they say something, I'm like, well, we've been trying that. We're not able to do that yet. But because we're not able to do that yet, you're not right about what it is, because it is not that. Mm-hmm. So I urge you to go to the FAQ, read the questions and answers, really educate yourself. What is in it? Don't even take my words for it. Really investigate for yourself. And my point to that is so that you are solid. So when someone comes at you with a criticism, you have lived it, feel the difference. That's the most important one. If you don't feel anything, you won't. Why do it? Go sell candy. You'll make money faster. It's much easier to get people to eat candy and cake than take care of themselves, right? Yeah. But if your goal is to be financially stable and enhance people through creating wealth for yourself, or it began with the intent of getting healthy yourself and back on your feet yourself, so your experience of the product is what matters the most. Mm-hmm. But then please educate yourself. And so that, just like me, when you hear someone push back at you, instead of getting all insecure, and you get all funky inside and you get righteous and you get all frustrated, why would I get frustrated? They're human beings. Have I always been perfect? I never pushed back on people. I never argued. I never thought I knew it all, until to realize a year later, oh, shoot, I was wrong. But I'll never go back and tell that person, oh, I was wrong, right? We've all been there. So they're just other human beings coming at you with their own fear and misunderstanding, or wherever they come from. You don't know the amount of suffering these people have gone through, or maybe they've gone through 5 products before us and have terrible experiences or been lied to. So they're extremely suspicious, especially if it's not $30. So it all makes sense to me. So I welcome them. And when they say something, I'm like, oh, why do you think that? Can you explain that thought process? Because I need to understand, because it's not my experience of the product. So can you explain? And then they talk. And then you can investigate with them, not against them. Mm. And then explain, and it reinforces your comfort level as well. I want people to be comfortable the way I am being here talking to you. I don't need everybody to love the shake. It's okay. Mm-hmm. We all ready for what we're ready when we're ready for it, not a day before. Mm-hmm. So some people will come to you ready, some not sure, and some really not ready. Or maybe they think they're not ready and they're arguing with you, but they'll remember you, especially if you were kind and compassionate. Mm-hmm. They'll remember you a year from now if they haven't found help somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So I welcome all of it, because I think the more you experience something and it's true for you, and the more then you understand it with your mind, then the more helpful you can be to another human being. And that's the whole point.
Oh, that was extremely, extremely helpful. And I have a curious question for you. Away from Shakeology, what does a typical day of eating look like for you?
Right now, it's not looking good.
Yeah, minus the sickness.
My God. One thing that I absolutely love about my life right now is that with the 30-something years journey that I've been through with my body, my health, my emotional state, my intellectual state, my spiritual state, there's been such a progression that I've come to a place where there's great trust between my body and what I reach out for. So it all starts with an inner telling. It tells me. So there is no, in terms of like ratio, I don't count calories. I'm being just quite frank with where I'm at now. Um, I don't count calories. I don't worry about how much carb, protein, fat. My only concern is that it's clean, it's healthy, it's whole food, not processed. I always try to find clean and pure, ethical companies, cooking a lot. And the same principle really that is about Shakeology as well, and any product that I was involved with. So I eat a lot of vegetable. I love them. I've always loved them. So as opposed to my husband, who doesn't like them at all, I actually love them. I was vegan for most of my life when I around 16 or so, 17, 18 probably. But at the time, it was not as much as an ideology as a deep craving. So I naturally gravitate toward vegan food. I just love everything about it. So for me, it was not a hard choice. But at times, I've noticed I have needed animal-based food. I don't want to go into concept that may not be appropriate to the Beachbody platform, but for me, there's a lot of other aspects of my health that are not part of the Beachbody platform. Animal have a vibration and density that is very grounding. So those are concepts that are not really part of the 101 nutrition. And I don't ask anybody to believe or understand that, but it's real for me. I tend to be out there and not as grounded as I should be. My body is designed in a way like that as well. So it's been very hard. I've tried, and I just don't like red meat. I'm okay with a few fish that I've tried to have while I was pregnant. So for me, it's actually challenging to incorporate some meat. I don't have a belief system. So I'm never trying to convert people into being vegan or vegetarian. I love eggs. But I do believe that it's important to try to reach for grass-fed or well-treated animals. And I pray over my food. I thank its life for my life. But I do that for vegetables and fruits and legumes and seeds and nuts as well, because I think it's all alive. So my food is mostly vegan beside eggs. Every once in a while I try, and sometimes I feel like I need it would help me. And by need, I don't mean technically because I can't find a protein somewhere else. You can find a protein in vegan diet if you enjoy it, if it feels good to you. But that sort of density that I look for. You see how the concepts go beyond our conversation, our scope. But I am mostly based on all these elements, a lot of fat in my diet. So a lot of vegetables, a lot of avocado, coconut oil, olive oil, nuts and seeds have fat. But I'm learning to put more and more protein in my diet, thanks to my shake as well, and Vanilla Fresh.
Yes.
Even the Daily Sunshine, the latest one for our kiddos, has good amount of protein. That was my challenge because I'm so vegan naturally, but vegan in terms of like I would have salad bowl size of vegetables and I'd be in heaven. So you give me something else that seems so appropriate and so yummy to other people, and I see a big bowl of vegetable and I salivate. So that's just my makeup, right? But I don't believe in one size fits all. I really believe that we're all different, and also different time in our lives. Being a kid is different nutritional needs as being an adolescent, as being in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, and then you get into menopause, where all sorts of other things happens, and that changes what you need as well. So brings me back to the beginning of my conversation. Answering that question is, I have learned to really tap in and really listen. So if suddenly I'm reaching for something that's unusual, I'm going for it. I trust it, but I know that it's rarely about an emotional need. So I am now, thank God for the deep commitment to my health, I rarely will reach for any food in terms of emotional help. So
Mm-hmm.
the food is really about my body and nourishing myself and pleasure. I love enjoying my food, and I want people to enjoy their food, which is why the Shakeology is aimed to be very pleasurable, drinking it, sensation, texture, because it's important. That is also a part of being satiated, that it's delicious. If you don't have that yumminess in you at all, you get cranky.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's important, to find a way to enjoy your food, just as important as what is it is that you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a ratio of things, but all that is part of my food intake, and I go according to my activities and what I need. Um,
No, I love that. And that's it's extremely helpful, and I think it's a viewpoint a lot of us have on our team as well, as we're a fairly young team that's kind of learning and growing along the way as well. And with that, work with our own health and fitness goals with this business. I mean, it's not easy. We all come across a lot of struggles, a lot of triumphs, but a lot of struggles too. If you don't mind me asking a more personal question, is there any, struggle that you're kind of working through right now?
well, beside my body, um, but like I said, I'm trying to figure out struggle. And that leads me to my answer, which is never as, I'm not a black and white. Thank God with my husband, right? Between him, no nonsense, bullet point, black and white, and me all over the place, we're a good combo for the family. So for me, it's about, well, what is struggle? And what are you viewing as struggle? Is there an expectation of life being easy? So therefore, anytime it's not easy, it's a struggle. Is it a perception of human being? Even though you're not easy to be with, you have all your stuff, but you have this weird perception that people out there should be a lot nicer and better and smarter and all that. It should be like that. And you're all appalled and you're struggling to relate to people because you have that high expectation of people, which if you reverse the mirror, you will see you're just like the people. So we are people. So my perception of struggle has changed a lot. There's always challenges showing up. Carl and I are very involved in the world, in not charity in terms of just giving money, but really being involved in trying to put back, pass forward, but not just financially, in terms of our own personal involvement in organization and things. And so we encounter wild stuff, big wake-up calls, which, is a challenge. Makes you sad at times, but then you see like there's other people just like you, like in it with you, and so I understand that life in a way on earth is struggle. And you look at nature, they don't just pop as a flower. The avocado tree is not just poof, suddenly an avocado tree, tons of avocado. No, it began as a little seed, and it was hard to grow, and the winter came, and all sorts of things. You look at the animal kingdom when they get eaten all the time and flying around, pop, done, life is over. So I look around, I don't know who, except for ads and marketing and movies, we've been sold this ease. It doesn't really exist, I don't think. But does that mean that you have to be depressed and see everything as a struggle? Or is there a deep compassion for the incredible joy of being alive? One moment with my son, a big laugh, a big giggle with my son, one look of my husband with deep appreciation, one moment of sliding down, like right now, I baby slide. I couldn't even do that with my hips. So I went on a little baby slide not so long ago, and I was so excited, and I was laughing because I could slide down a baby slide. It was ecstatic, and I look at these moments, and as I get older, I am filled with simple, amazing moments of being alive. I found myself able to look at my son and take him in, and this heart expansion happens, and I am thrilled to be alive, looking at him doing his crazy babble with their, you know, toddler intellect, like what seems to make total sense to them. It's like a dream. You know how in a dream nothing made sense when you wake up and you try to explain it, but when you were in it, it was totally rational. So sometimes kids are like that. They have a whole thing they thought about and they share it with you and they're very excited, but it's like, what are you? But I love it. So I'm trying to describe moments that we all have that are amazing. And so instead of thinking of struggle, I'm living more and more the amazing appreciation of being alive. And struggle is part of it. Am I saying there's not horrible things happening in the world? Of course I'm not. Am I saying that our own lives are not filled with struggles? Of course I'm not. All sorts of struggles, but I don't know, there's this strange thought that it's supposed to be without. Therefore, there's a resentment that it is with it. So we resent the struggle as if they're not supposed to happen. And I think it makes it really hard to deal when it's just living, it's life. And then when we have the good moments, we are so busy being angry and resenting and frustrated of all those struggles that when the good moments come, they pass so quick and you don't even sit in them and really feel them, get invigorated by them, replenished, refilled by them. You are not living them. You're still in your head thinking of yesterday's pain in the ass person who did blah, 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 or the thing that it didn't happen. And I bet next month this is going to be like, oh, I know it's always like that. And you're so busy in that frame of mind and all the struggles to be and the one that I've been, that the ease and the good moments are present and you're not there to enjoy them. And also you have this movie expectation of what being well and happy, content is. So only like a movie like happiness is good enough. And so then you are not okay with the beauty of your own life. And I think if we sat in the simple moments, which, you know, I think a lot of us may have experienced the death of a loved one. And, you know, I've had a few, and never do they say, I wish I'd made more money. You know, they always say beautiful things that are about this, looking at your son's eyes, enjoying someone's holding your hand, you know, taking a walk and with someone and your kids skipping in front of you and catching leaves or whatever, you know. Sounds cliche, but it's really what it's about. So it's very hard for me to share struggles because they're the same as yours.
Yeah.
They're the same as yours. I'm just a woman. Yeah. My 50s right now, I have menopause, so I'm dealing with that. Like, I have not eaten, really, I'm just starting to have a little bit of things for 7 days. I'm a little weak. And I was laughing, telling one of my teacher at our little school, I said, well, I know I'm in menopause because I have not really eaten for 7 days and I have not lost a pound. So when they tell me nothing happened in menopause, I'm like, no, that makes no sense. Like nothing. So, so I'm dealing with that. Everything you guys are dealing with, there's no difference.
That was probably the most beautiful answer, and thank gosh I'm recording this, because now when I mean, like I said, struggles come up a lot, but to be able to have something maybe to come back to, just recenter you, refocus you on, okay, you know, and this is what. And
if you think of it, if you don't do that, what's the alternative? You're angry, frustrated, unhappy, never enough, never good enough, never enough stuff. And then you go about your life with all that attitude. And how fun is that? And how is that going to help you to be pleasant on the phone with your prospective clients, with your family, with your husband, with yourself? Like, how is that helping you in any way, shape, or form? So even if you wanted to be right, I'm like, okay, you're right. Have that attitude. That's okay with me. Good luck. But it's not helping you achieve anything, and it's not helping you getting out of that. So it's like people tend to think once I have that, I'll be happy. But finding content wherever you can find it and coming from there will allow you to get out of the thing that you don't like much more easily, much more readily. And you will live the transition, you will live your story in a very different way. So yeah, I hope it helps, because I think that also is part of health. Yes. Living that doesn't create cortisol and stress hormones and allow your body to stay healthier, to digest better, all of that. It's as important as antioxidants.
Absolutely. And I I mean, we could talk to you forever, but I want to let you go. But if you could give, say, just as you've been talking to these coaches and other teams, what's maybe the first piece of advice or one piece of advice you could leave us with?
Everything I share was so real for
It,
me.
it was amazing.
But be committed, safe, and completely in the know of why you are doing what you're doing. This shake, let's say we'll just focus on the shake, has to be real for you. Make it real for you. Remember your humanity, and remember that this is how you make a living. So besides raising your child, being a wife, whatever your situation is, you decided to do this as a living. And so you sit every day in front of the computer and you read comments, you talk to people, you communicate through Facebook. Be very aware of who you communicate to, why you're communicating, how you're living your life as a coach. Choose how you live your life as a coach. No matter what job you would be in, there would be challenges and difficulties and people, all these people out there. That's working and that's living. So these people are not meaner or more in your way than any other job. So find what is your meaning. What is your meaning, and allow the job, because it's the perfect job for it, to help your evolution as a human being, to help your ability to understand that you are in charge of how you live every moment of your day. When you pick up the phone, when you talk to people, don't come from a place of shame and insecurity and low self-worth. And if you do feel that way, write it down and explore that. If it's insecurity because you don't know enough about the product, there's tons of videos out there and coaches out there and the FAQ and the website, or Google every ingredient in the shake. Educate, know through and through the best of your ability what it is you are sharing with others. Be grounded, centered in it. Be real with it. When you're not, write it down, investigate, and make sure you take care of that doubt, so that you don't create 25 moments in your day because of being a coach that you resent. It's in your hands. It's a job where you're in charge. It's like you're your own CEO. And so it comes with responsibility and challenges, but all of it is for your well-being. The doing of it, the ingesting of it all, and the interaction as an owner of your own business. Who do you want to be? What is the Beachbody platform? To me, the transformation doesn't stop in your body or in your physical health. The transformation can continue in your interaction. Who are you when you interact? When they get angry at you, do you get angry back? Do you roll your eyes? Do you like, oh, what an idiot? Or do you get all insecure? I don't know the answer. You can say, I don't know the answer, but I'll find out. Do you want me to get back to you? Are you interested enough for me to get back to you? Because I trust this company and I know they have an answer. I'll get back to you. Like, there's so many other ways to go about your interaction besides being offended, frustrated, scared, resentful, insecure. And every time you feel that, write it down and work on it, because it's your own exploration. Because I have no doubt, I can hear all that, and it's fun. I do the best that I can from that place. I'm not drained. I'm in this call. I'm not drained. And it's pleasant interaction. I can learn from it. And I've had a few calls where I didn't know the answer, so I wrote it down, and I knew without a doubt that I would have an answer that would please me. And all that. Yeah. So to me, is live the Beachbody community well. You are in charge of it. So it's the product and it's you. Your transformation continues with each interaction that you're having with other human beings just like you. So I want, in my deepest dream, the Beachbody platform to help people transform on the human level as well. So it starts with the tangible, with the body, with the weight, with the disease, dis-ease, unease of your body, with feeling healthy and able and capable. And it continues with your heart and your mind, and how we as the Beachbody coaches want to represent the brand, want to represent us. Who are we in the world? Pointing the finger at Trump and being angry at him. We're just doing the same thing. We're no better. So I don't watch all the TV shows that are going at it like mad and creating all that frustration and resentment and anger and fear in our body. No. I go to all the doers in the world. All the people say, yeah, no, I know all that's happening, but all that over there is happening just as much. So I'm going to focus on that, on feeling myself with all that and acting on it to the best of my ability, whatever my life. If your life allows you to only learn to be more compassionate and loving toward yourself and therefore others, then that's your contribution. And that's great. Mm-hmm. So that's the platform for me. Is that tangible enough?
That was perfect. And I know on our team, we speak about that a lot, how, like I said, we're fairly young and kind of growing up through this as well, and how much Beachbody has helped us kind of grow. It's a, it was an unexpected thing. You don't expect all of that when you maybe sign up to be a coach, but it has impacted us.
Like when you work, it's always honeymoon the first year or two. Relationship, 2-year relationship and 25 years of marriage ain't the same thing, except most of us don't resent it. Most of us are still there after 25 years. So to me, our relationship between our coaches and the Beachbody platform is a long-term relationship. You can step in, and as soon as it gets a little hard, you can step out. That's okay. Some people are single their whole life. It's okay. But there's also the possibility of a long-term relationship with all the beauty, all the growth, and all the challenges that it comes with. But you can't have the growth and the beauty without the challenges. Right. We encounter challenges at the company with this powder every week. It's constant. This is not a little powder that you make and it's the same thing and it goes to the machines. Really isn't. We are dealing with a lot of difficulties all the time, and people are like, but we also love it because we are standing for something.
Right.
And so it's a long-term relationship if you wish it to be. And it comes with all of that, like any work, anywhere, any partnership that you would have at any point in your life. So it's no different, but you are a big creator of it because you're in charge of your own part of it. So I think there's something beautiful about that.
It absolutely is. And I'm going to let you go. I don't want to do any longer, but I just wanted to say thank you for being extremely honest and real with us, and for taking time on your Sunday to be with us. It's very greatly appreciated.
And I appreciate every single one of you. You make all of that possible. If I don't have anyone who wants my products, then I'm making it for myself. And it's so much better when you can pay it forward. Mm-hmm. So I'm very grateful. Right back at you all.
Oh, beautiful. We'll have an amazing Sunday, and we'll see you guys later.
Can you do me a favor?
Yes.
I would love to have the link
to the recording.
The recording. If there's comments and questions and things in there, or I might get ideas of maybe little videos and things that I could do to help more in how to communicate with prospects, or how to communicate with our coaches. So I would love to have a link to be able to listen to it.
Yes.
If you put it in my messengers.
Absolutely. I'll do that, or I'll get it
with computers, so don't go wild on technology.
That's okay. I can even get it to Sandy, and Sandy could maybe send it off to you.
That would be lovely.
Okay, perfect.
Plus, I can actually see faces a little bit. Will I be able to see faces?
You might. I had it on you most of the time, but I did pull it back to see the faces a few times.
That would be nice.
And I'll maybe catch up with the coaches too, if they had any, follow-up comments or wanted to pass along some messages to you. I'll send those as well.
Send it to Sandy.
Yeah.
And then she'll give it to me.
Perfect. Thank you, Isabel.
Thank you so very much, everyone. Be well and have a good Sunday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.